Chapter 1, Sources of History. What does this chapter teach us? This chapter helps us understand how we learn about history, especially modern history, after India got independence in 1947. Just like you use books, videos, and conversations to learn something today, historians also use different sources to learn about and write history. Why are sources important? Historians can't just guess what happened in the past. They need proof. This proof comes from different sources like 1. Written sources, 2. Material sources, 3. Oral sources, 4. Audiovisuals. Let's understand each one. 1. Written sources. These are things that are written down, printed, or typed. Examples include newspapers, periodicals, magazines, diaries, letters, correspondence, government gazettes, reference books, encyclopedias, documents and archives, postage stamps. Fun fact, do you know? The place where old documents are kept safe is called archives. The biggest archive in Asia is in New Delhi, called the National Archives of India. Why are newspapers important? Newspapers give us news about politics, sports, arts, social, and cultural events. They also give special reports at the end of each year, which help us understand the major events of that year. What is the Press Trust of India, PTI? It started in 1953 and gives important news and articles to newspapers. Now PTI also shares news online and through satellite. 2. Material sources. These are physical objects from the past. Examples include coins, seals, clothing, tools, museums, temples, buildings, ornaments, postage stamps. Stamps show pictures of important events, people, birds, animals, and more. They help historians understand what was important at the time. Coins. Coins tell us about the time when they were made. They show us messages like family planning or importance of farming. The Reserve Bank of India, RBI, prints Indian currency. Museums. They hold items like ancient coins, tools, clothes, sports equipment, and more. Museums help us learn about India's past and culture. 3. Oral sources. These are things people say and pass on through speech, not writing. Examples include folk songs, proverbs, ballads, songs that tell stories, stories from local people like Owis or Pawadas. These oral stories are often told during festivals, movements, or to celebrate heroes. They help us understand people's emotions and struggles. 4. Audiovisual sources. This includes TV, internet, and films. Examples: History Channel, Discovery Channel, news channels, documentaries, films about important leaders or events. FTII, Film and Television Institute of India, started in 1960 by the Indian government in Pune, trains people to make films and documentaries. They create movies and news that help us understand modern history. Summary for students. To write history, we need sources like written books, newspapers, letters, material, coins, clothes, tools, oral, songs, proverbs, audio-visual, films, TV, documentaries. Each source tells us a different piece of the story.